Unprecedented situation was seen on the Indo-Bangladesh border in Cooch Behar in West Bengal. 1,000 Bangladeshi nationals gathered at the Bengal border wanting to seek refuge in India, of course. The BSF, however, ensured that the situation was managed without any escalation, and they were halted and turned back at 150 yards. The group refused to turn back, citing the violence that had gripped the border villages, and this situation is expected to worsen as mobs in Bangladesh are currently having a free run, so to speak. So what do we do with this current predicament? The centre has formed, a special committee to monitor the borders. Before we get into a debate, we're going to look at this report which has been filed by my colleague Nibir on the border situation from Meghalaya in the northeast.
का नाम भैया?
विक्रम।
ये गांव का नाम
पैरुआ।
ये तो बहुत पास है बॉर्डर के। तो डर लग रहा है कि ऐसा सिचुएशन हो रहा है?
ये तो बांग्लादेश में जो चल रहा है, न्यूज़ जो देख रहा है, तो हम लोग को तो डर लग रहा है। हम लोग तो नज़दीक है, यहाँ से ये नदी क्रॉस करने से तो बांग्लादेश है, लेकिन हम लोग का पास जो फौजी लोग है, बीएसएफ लोग का, ये इसका कारण से हम लोग इतना कुछ नहीं डर रहा है।
जवान यहाँ पे पूरा तनाव है?
तनाव है, पूरा रात 24 घंटा ड्यूटी पे।
आप लोग यहाँ पे कब आया इस एरिया में?
इस एरिया में हम लोग तो बचपन से इधर।
पापा आपके?
हाँ,
कहाँ से आए थे? उस साइड से आए थे?
बोल नहीं सकता मामा, हम लोग तो जन्म कर्म यहाँ पे हुआ है सब कुछ।
पापा लोग कहाँ से?
पापा लोग तो अभी सिलचर में बोलते हैं, तो सिलचर से आया था।
अच्छा, तो you can see here, this is a village life near the border. The people are worried here, but they are saying that the BSF Jawans are guarding the area, and that's why they are not fearing it. However, the situation in these areas are very vulnerable because the border is just towards the right side, and it's a riverine border. But the security forces are working here. They are maintaining vigil so that no such people can enter the Indian side of the border illegally. Presently, we are with a company of BSF guarding the Indo-Bangladesh border. To my left, you can see this is the border that separates India and Bangladesh. Amid the prevailing situation of violence in Bangladesh, the security has been heightened, not just in this border, but across the Indo-Bangla border in Northeast. Northeast is a special area which is very crucial because any tensions in Bangladesh, the Northeast is affected. Like in 1971, when a lot of people had to come to this side of the border. This time also the situation is like that, and as such the BSF is manning the border, and you can see on my left the Jawans are patrolling the border. This is a very sensitive area. This is the Indo-Bangladesh border. This Bangladesh was part of the action when 1971 there was a war for the separation of East Pakistan, and a new country called Bangladesh was formed. And now again this border is playing a crucial role because the tensions there will have repercussions here, and the repercussions here are going to be very severe if they are not acted upon. And as such, the security forces are working 24/7, maintaining vigil, not just in the daytime but also in the night time. They are guarding this border. This is a totally protected border, but however there have been instances of infiltration earlier, so they are not taking any chances. This is not just guarding of the border here, but even if you see on the right side, the thick jungles are there. There are also security forces deployed there so that no untoward incident occurs. So this is what we are getting you from the ground zero as the situation in Bangladesh escalates, and in India there is preparedness if there are any repercussions on this side. This pillar is the last pillar of Indo-Bangladesh border. From this pillar, if you cross this pillar, is the country of Bangladesh on the other side. This is a very crucial border because this is a riverine border. If you can see, there are no barbed wires here. Although the BSF Jawans are guarding it here, but if you can see behind me, this is a river. This is the river that separates the country of Bangladesh and India. So that is the security challenge that we talk about always because of the riverine border. There have always been allegations that this leads to a porous border wherein influx of people from the other side can happen, and that is the biggest challenge. That is what the security forces are working on. You can see here the security forces are here. They are guarding the border, and that is the challenge that the current situation persists because we have a riverine border and it is very crucial to guard this border.
All right, joining us on the show is Ambassador Suresh Kumar Goel, former diplomat. Ms. R.K. Bhargava, former IG, BSF, is also with us on the show. Major General A.K. Sivanch, former head of Territorial Army and Geostrategic Defense expert, joins us on the program as well. Last but by no means the least, Mr. Sumit Peer, senior political commentator, also with us on the program to talk about this. Ambassador Goel, I'll begin with you, sir. So first up, this is a precarious situation. India is, of course, on the guard. At the same time, there are Hindu families who are looking and seeking to get out of Bangladesh at this point in time. Bangladesh has been a country that has been, replete with the political turmoil in the past as well. There have been assassinations of previous leaders as well. Sheikh Hasina fled in time to India. Perhaps we don't know what would have become of her had she continued to stay. But the fact of the matter is that Bangladesh is on the boil. Diplomatically, practically, as well as being a country that considers itself, sort of a big brother to Bangladesh. What's the stand? What's the outlook that we should be in fact poised with?
Vineet, you said Bangladesh is on the boil. I would just change the tense that Bangladesh was on the boil a few days ago when the situation came to a climax and as a result of the protests and as a result of the students' protests against the quotas transforming into anti-Sheikh Hasina protest and agitation backed by BNP and Jamaat-e-Islami, the two main parties. After that, there has been a change in the government. Sheikh Hasina left the country. We know she is in India, where we know there are speculations. But I think basically what I would say is that you give the metaphor of boil. The point is that when the water boils, it takes time to cool down. And I think we need to be patient. We need to wait for the situation to cool down. It is simmering at the moment. There are still protests on the streets. As of today, protesters forced the Chief Justice to resign, clearly indicating that there is still a lot of strength in the protest, which can change the political landscape of the country. I think basically what we are seeing is that there is the protest on the streets have taken a certain political color, and because India was supporting Sheikh Hasina, there is a sense that India was with Sheikh Hasina, and therefore there is a lot of unhappiness. I'm using the word carefully here. Unhappiness with India. At the same time, they do realize, and even the foreign secretary, who is part of the Council of the Advisors now, has indicated they have to cooperate with India, even though there are certain expectations. So I think basically rather than trying to escalate or trying to basically give it a higher color than what would be advisable, we should be patient. We should work with the government at the moment with the interim government of Bangladesh to ensure that the situation quietens down rather than escalating further. That kind of a working together will be both in the interest of India and Bangladesh. And there have been enough hints from Muhammad Yunus's council that they are interested in working together with India. Let us work on that. I would say that.
Sumit, your assessment of these people who are stuck, are trying to make it inside the Indian border. There is a humanitarian angle to this as well, Sumit Peer, and I'm sure India is as egalitarian and humanitarian as it gets. But the fact of the matter is, do you think or do you suspect that this is a situation which requires us to be extremely vigilant? Because, there could be untoward elements also, Sumit, who could be trying to make their way into India at this point in time. And I'm also surprised that, despite our efforts to take care of Bangladesh, even going to the extent of helping them win their freedom against Pakistan in 1971, there still seems to be a palpable faction of people who are anti-India.
Vinny, thank you for having me on your show. The situation is not good at all in my assessment. And what I'm gathering from sources and elsewhere is a couple of things. First of all, even today, they could ask the Chief Justice of the country to resign and give him 1 hour's notice. You know what does 1 hour notice in Bangladesh mean? If you don't resign, we'll come to your house and we'll lynch you to death. There were two actors, one father and the son. They made a movie on Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Both are Muslims.
They're both dead. They're both dead.
But dead. They lynched them to...
Shanto Khan.
They lynched them to death. They were brutally killed and their bodies were hanged. And now, who is controlling these shots? Is this so-called students? Do they lynch people? Do they threaten the Chief Justice of the country? Look, there it is very simple. Sheikh Hasina was lucky she could make it alive. Otherwise, in these Islamic theocracies, it's a theocracy. Now it used to be a democracy. People don't come out alive. Now today our challenge is, I'll quote you yesterday Hindustan Times. There was an article wherein it was written, 1,200 dreaded criminals, jihadis, and those radicals have been let out of Bangladesh jails, 5 places. Now they say that they're free, they have just gone out of the jail. My question is, if there's 5 jails, how can only these 1,200 most dreaded people leave? Why not the full of jail? So they are let, and even it is quoted that they are coming to the Indian border. That is what is perceived. Now what is happening? They are using Hindus as a road clearing party. First, you will let the Hindus come in. Hindu ke piche hum sab aa jayenge. Now these 1,200 people have been let out. This is which is BSF is quoting, and they're sent to India border. Now with all those things happening, and let me tell you another thing. Let's say assume beneath our border we have 1 lakh BSF guarding it. Example. When this crisis happened, now the deployment is possibly twice or thrice. I don't know, but people say it's around that proportion, which is the well done from India side. But if you look on the other side, Bangladesh border guard today is saying our deployment is almost 1/3. When we ask them, where are your people? They say we are sent the people to maintain law and order in the street because there's no law and order. So when you look at the border, the normal guard of Bangladesh was left, for example, 1 lakh is reduced now 30 or 40,000. We have increased our guard. The challenge here is that if Bangladesh border guard does the work, BSF doesn't have to do a lot. They are, in a way, how do I know they are not facilitating the mobs to come to the Indian border? How do I know when lakhs of people come, they want BSF to do the dirty job? How do I know this is not left patches? How Bangladesh can be so irresponsible? How Mohammad Yunus cannot ask his border guards to be at the border and they're letting them to do the traffic police management in the street? That is what not BSF is meant for. Our guys are doing a fantastic work. They are working 18 hours a day. I don't know, do they sleep? Do they not sleep? BSF is working to the best and best of the capability. But Vineet ji, सच्चाई ये भी है, 2 कांटे की तारें हैं. How long can 2 कांटे की तारें hold lakhs of people? That's a $1 billion question which remains there. Now if you have these people which have gone, look, Hindu girls are being abducted. I have videos, Hindu girls have been abducted. I have put it on my YouTube channel and they are taken away. Hindus are told, ये लो 5 lakh रुपए sign करो और हमें मकान दे दो. Otherwise we will anyway burn it or we will capture it. Now, how did this so-called student movement become anti-Hindu movement? What are ISIS flags doing there? What is Nalai Takbir Allahu Akbar doing there? Why 271 districts Hindus are attacked? Why all Kali temples are targeted? In Nohokali, why Hindu girls are being abducted in the broad daylight? Why Hindus are threatened? Sign here, take some money, otherwise we're anyway going to take it. So how do we know Rohingyas won't let through the India border? So are Indians or the so-called Hindus only the road clearing party? Then after that people have come in. 2 days back, Rajshahi, Awami League, Muslim politicians, they're trying to change their name and identity. They came to the border. Luckily, BSF knew them. They were very vigilant. They caught them and sent them back. But again, our brothers at BSF are doing a fantastic work, but there's a limitation to what they can do. If on the other side, why did Bangladesh lower the border security guard? Why they don't have the additional deployments? If they can't stop their people, how are we going to do? And the most important thing is, the imminent Hindu genocide is on the way. I mean, that is what the social media is saying. That's all the things are saying. How does any political problem become a Hindu problem? How do all Hindus are the target of, Sheikh Hasina comes, Khalida Zia comes, and Khalida Zia's statement I read when she is saying on a wheelchair, oh, BNP is not against Hindus. It's like Hafiz Said saying, I'm a Democrat and I'm pro-peace. We are not against Hindus. We are for, we are not communal. We are not all that. The challenge remains, Vineet, BNP doesn't have a cadre on the ground. Her son, the military is not letting him come into the country. Her own son. Now, when he cannot come into the country, there's an election. Who will win the election? Jamatis are going to win the election. Around more than 20 leaders from Awami League are lynched to death. Some of them are even Muslims. Most of the leaders which are targeted are Hindu. When they attacked a police station, they burned a police station, 20 policemen were killed. 13 of them were Hindu.
Right.
So it's that they are not targeting
You're
Hindu.
absolutely right, Sumit.
The challenge is very big, Vineet. We are at a 1971 kind of a situation at the borders.
All right. Let's also get a defense expert also to weigh in on the situation here. General Siwach, you've heard both the previous panelists. Where do you stand on this? Sumit mentioned a word, theocracy. That is something which has become a bane for a lot of countries. That have no natural resources to sell, so they bank on religion to keep the people, in tame. But Bangladesh has been a progressive country. It's made strides in the past. It struck up a good chemistry with India as well. It was trying to strike up a good chemistry with China as well. There are jihadi elements in Bangladesh that obviously want to become another Pakistan to India. This could perhaps be the opportunity or the window that they were looking for. Do we really need to look at this situation from a very, very serious prism? Because the Americans, the European community is worried that this is perhaps, a tipping point in Bangladesh.
Absolutely. Vineet, what exactly has happened is, you see, as far as the track record of Bangladesh is concerned, it is as vast as Pakistan. Now, when Bangladesh was a part of Pakistan as a East Pakistan in 1947, the Hindu population was 23%. By the time it got independence in 71, it reduced to 14%. Now it is less than 7%. So the mute question is, where are the Hindus gone? So either they have been killed, or they have been converted, or they have fled the country. Now this is the ground reality as far as Bangladesh is concerned. Bangladesh anti-India sentiment and India out campaign was was taking the shape before even Sheikh Hasina has gone. Now this was a matter of worry for Indians. We were seeing that it is on the increase. After Maldives, which was Bangladesh, where India out campaign was started by Bangladesh Nationalist Party of Khalida Zia. Now let's understand what is the ground reality today. Now the ground reality is that there is no law and order in Bangladesh. People are looting the Hindus' houses, Hindu temples have been vandalized, and the Hindu gods have been taken. And now majority of these Hindus have left their houses. Either they are gravitating toward the town, or they are coming toward the border. That is the ground reality. Now, if this is what India can do. Now, the worst case scenario is that in this scenario, that Jamaat-e-Islami is trying to send some terrorist also to India. You can never make out who is a terrorist and who is a genuine person who is trying to cross over border. That is one. The Rohingyas, which were 10 lakhs of them, they were in Cox's Bazar. They were kept very safely by Sheikh Hasina government. It has been now come to my understanding and knowledge from sources that they are also free for all. Now, those Rohingyas have got only one destination. They want to come somehow ever in India. Now, is India border very, very safe, or it is so much fast? There are 54 rivers which are going from India toward Bangladesh. The terrain is riverine. I commanded a battalion for 3.5 years in Kokra, Gajao, Bogaigaon, Abhepuri and Dhubri area. And also in Meghalaya, Garo Hill and Doki, the place which you were showing it on your screen. Now the question is that the border is almost porous because you can't make a fencing on the riverine terrain. So the now problem is coming is the border guard Bangladesh, they like BSF, is not stopping them, they are facilitating them. They are trying to push them toward India side, and this is the biggest challenge has become for a BSF. BSF is trying its best, but it's a Herculean task, and to me it looks like that few of them must have managed to cross over, and these are all radicalized. These are all Rohingyas. These can be Jamaat-e-Islami. That's what ISI was trying to do it. And this is the biggest challenge as far as India is concerned. Our worry is what will happen to those Hindus who are there. And the second thing is, how do we stop all these radicalized youth to come in India? Remember, there are about 15 to 20 jails which have been broken. And there are about anti-national elements as well as the terrorists which were there in jail. They are now loose free. Where will their destination? They will love to come to India. No, so this is the biggest challenge which is coming as far as Bangladesh is concerned. There is no law and order. The police is not manning. They feel they are going to be targeted by Jamaat-e-Islami. They are not reporting to the police station. It is the Bangladesh army which is doing that duty, and due to which the border is total free for all. That is a cause of worry. Now the question comes is, as far as Bangladesh is concerned, how come that everyone went against? This is unfortunate. Sheikh Hasina government in last 15 years have done tremendously well as far as the economy of Bangladesh is concerned. Their textile industry was looking up. Their foreign reserve has almost touched to $48 billion in 2021. Their per capita income was better than India. And that's why you find that the infiltration once upon a time used to take due to economic reason from Bangladesh to India, stop. And because there was opportunity for employment in Bangladesh itself. But now the way the situation is there, those people are now trying their best, especially Hindus and radicalized youth, to come to India. Now, as far as Sheikh Hasina is concerned, the problem with it, that of course it is the Pakistan ISI which has manipulated along with Jamaat-e-Islami, but it is China. But the worst case scenario is it is the US CIA, because
Right, sir.
he was brave enough to say no.
Let me also bring in Mr. R.K. Bhargava, former IG BSF, into this conversation as well. Mr. Bhargav, obviously a very volatile situation for India as well at the borders. What do we need to in fact be careful of, and what should be our top priority when it comes to safeguarding our own interests and of course our borders?
As far as our borders are concerned, of course, the government feels perhaps they have erected a very long chain of fencing. But as someone said, that the entire area is riverine. I have seen the cattle coming in from those rivers. They are just met from this side. They go to Bangladesh. Then they may change track also. Similarly, from that side also, they bring in Bangladeshis come in daily to India. They trade here, they earn their livelihood here, and then they go back. So the condition or the situation on the border is like something, even if the fencing is there, people have got a free run across the border. Now, when we come to the Bangladeshis, Rohingyas or Hindus trying to cross over from that side, well, I think those who have seen that border, they can very easily say it is not very difficult to cross over to India. Now, when they come in bunches, when they come in thousands, then of course it is difficult, because then entire mass cannot come in. The BSF is there, it will stop them. But trickling in a group of 10, 15 or 20, there is no problem. And I am sure that, as Mr. Sumit said, Hindus are being used as road opening party. They are using them for the road clearance. And even if 1,000 Hindus come this side, perhaps in those 1,000 Hindus, there may be just 10, maybe 20, maybe of course 100 also, but even the 10 numbers of Rohingyas or some militants are there, they can play havoc in Bengal. I know, I have seen the people crossing from there, because now, you see, one thing we must know also, crossing from Kashmir, crossing from Bengal, crossing from Jammu area is slightly difficult. Thus, coming to Bangladesh and then crossing from there all along, because it is almost double the boundary which we share with Pakistan. It is almost twice of that. And it is not so well guarded as Kashmir or Punjab. So number of such militants, such Rohingyas, they can easily come in and they can infiltrate further to Kashmir or Punjab or all over the country. So that is the main concern. That should be the main concern. That these Rohingyas or militants, they should not be able to come in.
Ambassador Goel, what should India do about the Hindu community that is, of course, battling and trying to survive in Bangladesh at this point in time? In fact, not only India, but other nations have also shown concern for minorities in Bangladesh. What should India's top priority be in terms of getting these people to safety, or ensuring the interim government or whoever is in charge, that this is something that needs to be controlled?
So, Bhargava has also clarified. The number is 1,000, whatever the number is, which actually came to the Kuch Bihar border and tried to cross. And if the fact is, there are 1.3 crore Hindus in Bangladesh. If they all decide to cross into India, there is no way that there is any amount of force which would deploy at the border will be able to stop them. So we said two cross wires. Nobody will stop them. Clearly, the problem is there, but it is not that huge. The numbers are not so large that we need to become hyper about the problem. I'm saying the number is significant. It's not that large, but really we start thinking of military measures, number one. Number two, and that's an important point, you should not think of minorities in Bangladesh just in terms of Hindu, Muslim. Whatever the number is, we have at the back of the mind. But the fact is, politically, if we begin to treat the issue as a Hindu-Muslim issue, we will be doing a great disservice to the Hindu community in Bangladesh. I have been there several times. And I have said yesterday at a channel that the Muslims celebrate Durga Puja with as much fervor in Bangladesh as the Hindus do. It's a cultural thing between India and Bangladesh. It is not just religion which brings them together, and we should focus on that kind of a cultural synergy between the two countries. And the last point, give time to the present government, work with the present government to cool the situation down. If we begin to aggravate the situation, escalate the situation, it is actually going to do greater harm to us than otherwise. So we need to play the game with some sensitivity, control it, make sure that while there are Hindu, Indians, etc., who may actually feel insecure, but try and work in a sense that they become secure in the areas where they are. That's the only way we can handle with them. If we begin to say, all right, come to India, it won't work.
Sumit, I think is that a thought that obviously mature economies and mature nations need to entertain, and that is, of course, that we need to give, this churn that is taking place in Bangladesh a bit amount of time before we jump to any conclusions? Or do you think that how the Hindu community is being treated there is alarming enough?
Vineet, in my opinion, it is already the last of last chance they have got, because today it is not an elected government. It is a theocracy which is in place. Muhammad Yunus said one thing which I completely agree with him. It's the second liberation of Bangladesh. You know what is the liberation? From a so-called Islamic democracy, Kagzo pe to thi at least, to a complete Islamic theocracy. When you remove the Chief Justice of the country, what is from the rule of the law, what is described by the preamble of the constitution of that country is gone, now Sharia will come into the place. Now in that situation, there is an eminent Hindu genocide which is looking into it. Look, whatever happened there, China paid the money, ISI did it, Jamaatis worked in hand. Now it is anybody's game there. Nobody will control Bangladesh. Bangladesh is going to go down the drain. Mark my words, economy gayi tel lene. Nothing is going to work there. It is now practically a West Pakistan. We liberated in 1971 and 2024, it has become a West Pakistan. It's the third front of us. If you look up for our Hindu brothers, I think it is time, Vineet. In my opinion, when Muslim genocide reached a peak by the Pakistan army, India intervened there and did what it had to do in 1971. If Hindu genocide is looking imminent, which it is happening right now, it is going to increase. Muhammad Yunus, I can bet you cannot control a thing. Uske haath mein hai. He's just a puppet. He won't be able to control anything. If it reaches a push comes to shove, we might have to do something wherein a safe zone or an area is cut for Hindus. We get rid of our chicken neck problem and we salvage the interest for good. If that means one more division, if that means two more divisions, whatever it is, let us do it. Because Indian army cannot only be bothered about the Muslim cause, and when it comes to Hindu cause, humne kuch dekha nahi, humne suna nahi. Because whatever we did right in 1971, if something has to be done, needs to be done in 2024, the history will watch us. The history will write. Whatever we did in 71 was right, but did we miss the bus in 2024? Or we did a permanent settlement there? Under the watchful eye of the Modi government and the current government, how can you let a genocide of Hindus happening? They are very weak, they are very poor, they are already picking up their daughters, sir. It is some jihadists infiltrated into Israel. They took the daughters of Israel. You know what happened to them, right? You know what happened to them. Taliban-like kidnappings are happening. Do we as mighty India let that happen? Do we say because they are Hindus, we are not bothered? Because that time Pakistan army was killing Muslims, so we jumped in and we did what we had to do. But abki baar Hindu, let's call it a day. It's not important for us. These things go down in the history, and if we choose to do that, it will put a different image of India at the world. We must give them some time. If the things work, already Modi ji has, when he congratulated Mr. Yunus, he told that Hindu safety is an area of major concern. And let this message be very clear to Bangladeshis. If Indian army in India can intervene when it's Muslim genocide happening, Indian army in India can also intervene, God damn it, when it is Hindu genocide happening. Hindu lives are not disposable. Hindus is not कि Hindu है तो कोई बात नहीं है. That notion has to go very clear to this so-called general, to this Muhammad Yunus, to these Jamatis and their perpetrators and supporters. And last thing, mobs have no mentality beneath. There is no mentality of a mob. If anybody think you can control mobocracy, you can control democracy, not a mobocracy. Bangladesh, anybody can stop anybody can check anybody can set anybody's house in order. If what tomorrow, if these so-called students say, okay, Muhammad Yunus resign, 1 ghanta, will Muhammad Yunus resign? If a chief justice can resign in 1 hour, I'm asking this on national TV. If the same group of students say, Muhammad Yunus, resign, will Muhammad Yunus resign? No, he will not resign. That is what the game is. If they call army chief, Bhaiya, utro kursi se, ho gaya tumhara, sawa ghanta, will the army chief step down? No. We know what this is all done. This is Sharia in place, and this is a silent Islamization of Bangladesh. We've been talking the whole community, 80% of them are radicalized. Even on the target are secular Muslims.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.